Good evening, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I thought that I would start to include the Bible quote that our friend who chooses to be called Jay rather than his name. Not everybody wants to be on YouTube. But this friend is an internet friend that has emerged as one of our subscribers, and every day he sends me a quote from the Bible. Now, I know that I have to own up to using in the far distant past using the Bible thumper designation for people who insist on quoting from the Bible. But I also have to admit that during the time that Jay has been sending me quotes, he has been almost psychic on choosing from random a quote from the Bible that will be absolutely dead on the money. So I thought maybe it would work for other people out there. Now this one today is especially challenging, shall I say, because there really is no point in striving for things which are easily possible. You really do have to strive for things which give you a tough time, and in doing that you get stronger. And let's face it, just purely I'm not feeling sorry for us, for Beth and I, but we've had quite a battering in the last 18 months or so. So, without further waffling, if that's possible, I'll read you the quote. This is from Luke 6:35. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High, because He is kind to the ungrateful and wicked. Now, I've always seen, whenever I've read about Christ in the Bible, I've always seen how incredible He was at being kind and accepting of those who were doing the worst deeds. Sorry, I'm fiddling about with this and trying to get it so that I'm in the middle of the picture. Now, this one is a really tough one. Jay also sent one to me some time ago. Maybe I can put my glasses on again and find it, because it was about vengeance. Boy, that's a tough one. Any time that anybody talks about vengeance, actually, grassroots, it's really talking about getting your own back. I even read a quote on Margaret Thatcher, who used to be the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and she said, it's easy to forgive once you've got your own back. I'm not sure whether Maggie said that, but anyway. But let me see. See, there's another one. I got banana fingers when I'm doing this, sorry. See that one? He sent me this a little while ago. It said, "The Lord is not slow in keeping His promises, as some understand slowness. Instead, He is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance." Let me see. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to find it. No. I don't think so. But he was talking the quote was about vengeance being not being our business. Vengeance is not for us. It's not for us to get our own back. All that you do is just make the matter worse. And I read a quote, not from the Bible, but from someone else, much cleverer than I, and he said, any argument starts with the second voice. In other words, somebody says something to you, and you react, and when you react, then there's an argument. My sister was married to a man who refused to argue. She would launch the first barb, he would completely ignore it. He just would not take it up. And if she said, you know, I want to clear, he would not do it. And this has really made me think very lately, especially about how the Filipino way is non-confrontational. Now, that doesn't mean that Filipinos and Filipinas don't say nasty things, but when it comes to the heat of a moment, generally speaking, unless the fire is stoked by some bloody-minded foreigner who perhaps should remain nameless, they don't take it up. They smile and they leave the bad stuff unsaid. Now, the trouble with us foreigners is that we like to clear the air, and me especially. I've been brought up, my studies in human behavior, for the little that I know of psychology, has usually been what I call the post-mortem method. You have a disagreement, you have a fight between you and a friend, a loved one, a family member, son, daughter, father, mother, and you want to get the whole thing cleared up. So you sit down opposite each other, and usually it's a face like this, and you're really reluctant to be doing the whole thing, not looking anybody in the eye, that whole thing, and then you start to repeat the things which really got to you. Now, how sensible is that? But the idea is that you remain calm and you say, well, I felt very upset when you said that. And the other person says, I don't blame you, but I said that because you said this. And then it's your turn again. Well, what else could I say when you had just said blah? And the other person said, well, of course I did. You'd said blah, blah to me. And that was the post-mortem method. You lay the body of the argument out on the slab, and then you cut pieces off it, hoping at the end of it to have nothing left. And here's Filipinos, don't say anything. And they don't so-called clear the air. They, well, my experience certainly with Beth is that she will just not take it up. She'll just laugh at something. Now this almost ignites another fire, because in a Western culture, being laughed at is just a no-no. You know, you think that's funny? You think that's funny? And so off you go to the races again. Now the thing is that we all know, and in spite of knowing, we all continue to aim these bad things, unkind, malicious, hurtful things to the other person. And when they respond, neither of you is understanding that you're not receiving incoming calls. So you block anything that comes in that might be rational and logical, and you aim the next arrow, and off it goes, and you hope it will hurt like hell. I had one way of dealing with an argument with a friend. I had a friend who we'd had a bad disagreement, and we were both right, of course. Of course, I was righter than him. We all know that. I don't think so. And in the end, I called him up and I said, look, I know that we had a bad argument. I know that you feel very badly about it, and I know that you believe that you're right, and so do I. But the friendship is more important to me than being right in this argument. So can we put this behind us and just go ahead and go on? Just put it behind us. Never mind right, never mind wrong, never mind you did this, I did that. Never mind that. Can we just say that the friendship is the more important thing and move on? I'm sorry that it ever happened. And usually that worked. I only ever had one person that didn't work on, which was a pretty good record. And I got back dearly beloved friends by doing that. Nobody's fault, everybody's fault, nobody's fault. Your fault, my fault, his fault, their fault. The friendship is more important, so can we just move on? Going ahead on this Bible quote of love your enemies, and that's going to be tough, but at least you start thinking about it, and that's a good thing. Thanks for looking in. This is a foreigner in the Philippines.